Hello, Lotta. So finally we meet and we managed to talk about humility. We have been discussing about this idea for quite some time. We also talked about this a little bit in the past, but the conversation we had got lost for some reason, for some good reason, maybe. This is probably the right time to start it again to the benefit of the Spirit of Humanity community. Let's see what will happen based on this conversation, if others will want to join us in the conversation. So what we agreed is that we will ask each other questions about the big topic of humility, big and hidden topic, I would say. We don't discuss too much in an open way about this very important quality and the spiritual nature of this quality. So I leave it to you, Lotta. I leave to your questions, and then we change place, and I'll ask you questions. Let's see how it generates. But thank you, Lotta, for kind of following me on this crazy idea to start a conversation, and we, let's say, evaluated different options. But I think it's a good way if we start this way.
Thank you, Filippo. I don't think it's a crazy idea. I think it's actually very valuable. The topic of humility, without saying anything beforehand of what I feel, but it is important in today's world. And therefore, I'm very happy to ask you some questions. And because you've been thinking a lot about this, it's been in your heart for a long time. And so my first question to you would be, what is the reason? What is it about humility that captivates you, that makes you want to make a whole series of conversations in humility? What's important to have this conversation? And why humility?
So I think I always believed in the power of humility. I always thought that it would be a very good investment for myself and for the world if I managed to become more and more humble. And I also think that it's about time that we publicly discuss the power of humility. If we look at ourselves, our inner and outer situations, we discovered that most of the time we suffer and we complicate the world as well because we think we know, because we think that things should go in a specific way, and we think we have the answers and others probably don't understand us. In truth, this is what I'm learning throughout life. We rarely know. This is what I've been learning thanks to life, sometimes in hard way. We rarely know the whole story. And this is, if you want, a liberation, realizing that we don't know it all, realizing that we don't have to do it all, kind of frees us to be more authentic, be more vulnerable, and act towards other in a more sincere way. So I realized that it's rare to find the topic of humility in public dialogues and discussions, especially at the political level or at the economic level or social level. It's that kind of topic which is sometimes confined to spiritual circles or wisdom traditions. But even within spiritual circles and wisdom traditions is sometimes hidden. Um, we speak more openly about love. We speak more openly about faith. We rarely focus on how humility can help us to reach a different position in life, a position where love is more present, or better put, we realize more clearly that we are loved, that love is more present, and we act more calmly and with the clearer ideas. So yes, there are many reasons why I thought that it would be a good idea to talk about humility.
You were saying vulnerability, to become vulnerable, and that it's like a benefit to be able to go into that space of showing one's vulnerability. So I wonder, because you say in the beginning that we want to present ourselves as we already know. We know, we present an image of ourselves that we know, and because of that reason, we cannot be humble. So why is that, do you think? Why do we want to present ourselves as we already know everything?
Yeah, I think we are social animals and we feel very much the social pressure surrounding us. Even if that pressure is not explicit, we breathe it in the air. We are at times afraid of what others think of us, especially if we are in a position of power. We might feel confident, but sometimes behind that confidence, there's a little bit of fear, a little bit of desire to, act as others are expecting us to act. And this is important to realize because if we remain unconscious of the nature of our behavior, of our drivers, of our intentions, then it's very difficult to be authentic, to really behave the way we believe in, to really say the things that we deeply, care about. So I think being able to experience vulnerability and humility is very much important to change our behavior.
And then also I can understand that, when we are worried about what others people think, we wouldn't worry if people wouldn't think anything negative, or wouldn't if there were no risk of anyone attacking us, we wouldn't have these thoughts of why we wouldn't worry about what other people think, because everyone was benevolent. So somewhere also I assume it has to do with our experience of having been hurt. And so then the lack of humility becomes like a defense system. This, I already know. You cannot touch me.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
so maybe that is the reason why we feel not so secure to show our vulnerability, because we don't know how it's going to be received.
Yes. Yes, I agree. There's an element of protection behind arrogance. And there's also an element of mental elaboration. At times we spend way too much time thinking about things, thinking our way through things, and we become enamored with certain ideas of who we are, of our role in the world. We fall in love with the appreciation of others, and we end up being trapped in an attitude that prevent us to be humble. So especially in these times of great focus on the mental level of reality, especially within the media world, we receive a lot of content. We process more and more information. We kind of nurture certain stories about the mind and intelligence, artificial intelligence. It looks like everything has to do with, intelligence and also with reputation. It's important to be in a certain position in order to be respected, in order to feel good. And then we somehow fall into this trap of arrogance, of, getting attached to our ideas, our mental elaborations, forgetting that the reality in most cases is even simpler, is fundamentally simple, and we are who we are. We are in the perfect situation where we are doing what we are doing, either in a public way or in a private way, and we contribute in many ways. In most cases, we don't even realize that we are contributing in multiple ways to our world. And yeah, I think the way to humility is a way to inner peace in that respect. We need to calm our mind in order to, become disengaged with certain narratives that we hold, certain preoccupations, and in order to work on those inner obstacles which you refer to, those inner feelings of not being enough, of having to, do great things in order to be loved by others and by the world, in order to be respected, in order to feel adequate. And yeah, you're right when you're saying that a lot depends on how we grow up and how we process a certain, let's say, traumatic events of our childhood, for example. So, yeah, the way of humility is not necessarily an easy one if we take it seriously. Because we cannot just simply say, okay, I want to be more humble. I want to be less arrogant, because things come out in an automatic way from us, and it takes a long time for us to change our assumptions of what is important, and change our attitude, and even admit that we were wrong. We have made mistakes. That's very important in order to walk in the way of humility. But it takes a lot of effort, because all of a sudden, all your internal sense of importance might fall away. So many things.
You were talking about, feel love from others, to be accepted, and to be respected. And I'm thinking these are important things. It's not extras that, we can have, or we cannot say that we don't need it. My sense is that we very much need that. So it feels like you're touching on something that is very deeply human needs. And so I cannot be humble if I don't have those. It's difficult to be humble if that I don't feel any sense of love, I don't feel any sense of respect or self-respect. And then I try to be humble. So what happens with my behavior is that humility becomes when you lay flat on the ground just to please others, it becomes people pleasing because you're looking for acceptance and love, which is natural. So what I find is missing then is self-respect. So I cannot be humble unless I learn how to grow my self-respect. So if I have respect for myself and you criticize me, then I will not take it badly. I think you're frozen. Are you still there, Filippo?
Lotta?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
And you disappeared. You froze.
Oh, I froze. It was on my side. I'm
I
sorry
don't
for
know if
that.
it was on your
Yeah,
side or my side.
I don't know.
I can check mine. Oh, I think my modem. Sometimes my modem is a bit funny.
Oh, okay. No problem.
But now I was thinking you were touching about very important qualities that we all need. And sometimes when we try to be humble, we think that humility is like a quality that stands by itself. And that's important to be by itself. But I feel that humility can never emerge unless I have a very stable self-respect. Because if my self-respect is very deep, it doesn't cost me much to say that I made a mistake, which means that I understand I'm a human being, I'm not a perfect God. And I understand also that I can make mistakes, but I don't throw my self-respect away because I made a mistake. So it's like an investment. I need so much self-respect. Then I can make a mistake. I can relax because I know I still respect myself even though I make a mistake. And then
Yeah.
I feel I get softer because I have this in me. And it takes, like you say, just like humility takes time to develop, self-respect takes time to develop. And I feel them, they are two qualities that support each other. So if I
Wonderful.
really have self-respect, then my humility can also grow. And my humility will support my self-respect, so I don't lose it so easily because I'm sorry I made a mistake. I can say that.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
what do you feel, thinking about that, what do you
Mm.
feel are the benefits in being humble? What are the fruits of being humble in my
Yeah.
life? If I'm able to be humble, what comes to me?
Yes, I think there are great benefits at all levels because, first of all, there's an inner sense of liberation, a sense of lightness by the very fact that I realize what my limits are. And I even start honoring my limits in a good way. It doesn't mean that I don't keep expanding and developing and improving and evolving as a human being, but I realize that I can do that peacefully within my limits. And that's by itself is a big shift in the kind of inner state we have. And then I think others immediately feel when we are becoming more humble. And I think it's easier for others to listen to us, to even focus on the content, on the substance of what we are trying to transmit, even before being distracted by the way we offer that. If we kind of force it sometimes, or if we shy away from our convictions. And I very much agree that humility is very much related to self-respect. And I think we are also more able to see things as they are, to see things more clearly, to step out of certain ideologies, how things are, how things should be, what we need absolutely to do, how, we have to do things. So I think it enables us to become more open-minded, become, less prejudiced towards others, and to enable them to become less prejudiced towards us. And I think if we were to, inject more humility in our political and social and economic system, we will witness a revolution, a revolution which is a revolution of simplicity, of things starting becoming less complicated, because we eventually stop overreacting, stop overdoing, stop, behaving in the usual way with the kind of narrow-mindedness and stubbornness that is very typical of our arrogant side, So, yeah, I think that everyone will benefit, will even be kind of taken aback, will be surprised by a humble attitude that kind of disarm you, kind of leave you without the possibility to counterattack or react, because you just share what who you are in with the good sides and also with the not so good sides. So be humble means also being able to recognize when we need help, when we need support from others, when we need more partnerships, when we need more time to get to listen to more people before taking an important decision, when we need to step out of what we are doing, kind of leave a certain position in society, quit a certain role or job, and focus on other things. I think there's a lot of need for that in today's world, because otherwise we run on autopilot, and we do it sometimes with the conviction that we are doing the right thing and others are doing the wrong thing. So we create polarities, divisions, and we don't open up much space for dialogue. That's why I think that there's some sort of a priority task for the people who want to, walk in the way of humility, which is the one of creating spaces for new dialogues, creating spaces for inner reflections, creating opportunities for certain encounters to happen. So, yeah, it's not easy, because sometimes, we equate humility with, not speaking up or not, taking a certain position of responsibility. But I think, humanity is growing in consciousness, and we are becoming more and more mature to do the two things at the same time: to pursue humility and remain humble, and at the same time to, say things as they are, take important decisions, consequential decisions, and which are not necessarily, the big decisions. Kind of very consequential decision would be to step down from a certain position. Can you imagine how the world would immediately change if certain people in position of great power would just step down? That will be the most consequential event ever. It take just one decision. So yeah, I feel that the future asks for that kind of actions, that kind of politics, if you want. The politics of, not doing things instead of doing yet another extra thing, saying yet another extra, thing to the world, or taking yet another fast decision in order to, kind of follow up on your ideas and so forth.
So what I hear from you is, when we are compensating a lot. So I'm compensating for a lack of security inside myself. And so I build it on outside myself. So I make my sense of self dependent on my position. And that's why I get so attached to it. So even when everyone can see that I better shift from that position, I can't see it myself because I'm so insecure in myself. I feel that security is so important in order to be able to be so relaxed and so clear about myself that I'm not dependent on my position. You said in the beginning there that to honor my limitations, and I think that was a very important key, because when someone honors their limitations and accepts their limitations, I feel that their own dignity immediately rise up. But often, because we have been also in the games with other people in society, and the whole game in society is based on competition, who is best, who get the bigger marks, and then we connect that with self-respect. And so we are so drilled in running after marks and who is best. But if I can do the work from inside out and start to see how can I build my own self-respect and my own dignity from inside, that I start to feel secure no matter what my circumstances are in terms of respect from outside and all of these things. It's a huge step of inner liberation, also freedom to be able to make that decision for myself. And I feel, when you talk about respecting limitations, I feel sometimes that my own system has been screaming to me that please don't overdo it because there is so much cost. When we overdo something, when I don't respect even the limits of my body, then the effect comes later on. But who is the one who does the damage? It's me. And so when I can start to respect the limitations also of time, you said that, sometimes we don't respect that. We have 24 hours and there should be a certain amount of rest within those 24 hours. But then I'm sometimes forced by some idea in my head, I have to finish this before this time because, and often when we work together, then we also push each other. And we start to believe that this is so important, and sometimes it's not at all true. So we force each other to push each other so far. So I feel also in the social setting that it's difficult sometimes to be humble because we are in connection with each other. And so what do I need then for myself to acknowledge my limitations? How is it possible to do that if I'm all in this loop of going to work, managing my family, there's never any gap anywhere? What do you feel I need to make a shift?
Yeah, I think there's a need for balance in terms of the amount of time and energies that I dedicate to outer work, so to say, and the amount of time and energies that I dedicate to inner work. I think there's a need to socially value the importance of inner work, to even acknowledge that that's a noble endeavor and has important, if not more important than external world of work. Sorry. So of course we are all pressured to work in the formal way because of financial reasons sometimes, because of the kind of setting we are in. It's not so easy to to say to your colleagues or employees that you now have to take X amount of time to dedicate to inner work. It's not easy. Nonetheless, more and more people are realizing the importance to to do that kind of work and to be supported in that. It's a big shift, but I think that's the way it starts. Sometimes life put us through a crisis, which paradoxically is what we need in order to stop what we are doing and to reevaluate our situation and to pursue a more balanced way of living, and to carve out more time for the kind of inner work we are discussing about.
So what is the inner work example? What would that be for you? What kind of inner work can I
The
take
inner
time for?
work for me is typically reflecting on my own ideas, assumptions, and behaviors after they happen. I love to journal. I'm graced to, having this habit since many years, and it's a very powerful habit because, in hindsight, after, for example, a moment of inner silence and meditation, I'm better able to see clearly what is holding me back, what is problematic for me in terms of old ideas about how I should behave, or what my ultimate objectives are, my sense of inner worth, what others are expecting from me, all those things that kind of made you reactive in life, the kind of programming that we carry since we are children. So I think what is serving me very well is, first of all, the finding the time and even the courage sometime to unplug, to walk away from whatever situation, kind of family situation or professional situation, and to stand still and to try to kind of pursue inner silence through meditation, through breathing. And after these moments of silence, typically things become clearer, and I write pen on paper about what is hindering me. And it doesn't mean that the next time those things are not any longer there. I still fall, I still catch myself behaving in certain ways, or having that old assumption which is creating so much pressure for me. But little by little, if I kind of persist, I'm able to become more and more detached, more and more detached, and see that I'm more than those ideas. I can, change ideas. Maybe there's another way of seeing things, and sometimes I literally invoke greater intelligence to help me. I ask, please help me to change my perspective. I remember reading A Course in Miracle, this kind of peculiar book. At a certain point, a miracle is defined as a change in perspective. A change in perspective. Of course, many other things have to change at the deeper emotional level. You hinted at that before, you know, because it's not just your mind and ideas, it's also, you know, your sentiments, your kind of hard sentiments. But I think a change in perspective is always necessary. For example, for me, the big change in perspective was related to my professional identity and sense of worth in society. So it's not all about my profession, it's about the way I show up. That was kind of a Copernican revolution for me. It's not about my career as traditionally defined. It's about the attitude and the energy and the quality of heart and mind that I put in whatever situation. There's no any longer situations and places and people who are necessarily more important than others. Yes, a little bit, you know, kind of in front of certain situations, I feel kind of afraid or bold, you know, but it's much, you know, it's more simple. It's about, you know, being in the present moment and giving your best without thinking that certain things are more important than others.